Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my home. Today I want to kick off with a story about beards, which I've kind of hashtagged Beardgate because it is a little bit odd and a bit strange, but let's just get into it. In fact, I think I may have even heard this story from a long time ago. I'm not sure if it's one that's just been regurgitated by the press, but let's just get into it. So, those of you that cast your minds back to Prince William's wedding, of course, to Kate Middleton, as she was at the time. In fact, people still refer to her as Kate Middleton. I have no idea why. But anyway, when William married Kate, William around that time had facial hair, and a lot of people were commenting at the time. I seem to remember how good he looked with his facial hair. And in the British military, as with other militaries across the world, there are certain restrictions and rules in place regarding the protocol of facial hair when wearing uniform or when serving on duty. I think in the UK, the only exception for that is in the Royal Navy, where I think you can have a beard, as sported, for example, by the late Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip. And there are also other examples of royal men in uniform with beards, but we'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, William apparently wanted to wear his beard for his wedding. Why not? He looked quite good in it, and he was refused at all turns. I'm not sure whether or not he went to the highest authority that he possibly could, i.e. His grandmother, the Queen, who of course is head of all of the armed forces. So if anyone could actually give a dispensation, it would have been her. Anyway, the upshot was that William had to shave off his beard. So that's obviously something that's kind of, stuck in his mind, that he was denied something that he really wanted to do. And of course, at the time, he wanted to wear a different military uniform, and it was Her Majesty, Her late Majesty the Queen, who kind of suggested the uniform that he ended up wearing. So William didn't really get, I think he must have felt like he didn't really have a choice when it came to his wedding attire, his wedding appearance. Whereas, fast forward, of course, to Harry and Meghan's wedding, a little bit of time has passed, and of course, Harry has his famous ginger beard. And of course, Harry wants to wear his beard, being advised that he can't for all the kind of protocol reasons why William couldn't. Now, Harry didn't sort of take this lying down. Harry, sort of being Harry, thought to himself, right, well, I'm not going to go to the organ grinder. No, I'm not going to go to the monkey. I'm going to go to the organ grinder. So he went to his grandmother, who has the authority to say yes or no. And he went to her and apparently said words to the effect of course, we're never going to know the exact words, but words to the effect of, my beard calms me down. Now, that's a weird thing to say. How can a beard calm you down? I have a beard. Does it make me feel calm? No, it most definitely does not. So how does the beard calm you down? I think what Harry means in that is that it's, I suppose, a barrier. We know that Harry has had issues with the press in the past, present, and undeniably probably will do in the future as well. So I think the beard must provide him a kind of shield, a layer of protection, rather than just kind of walking with literally a bag over your head. This kind of beard offers some kind of protection. So maybe that's what he means by calm. I don't necessarily think it makes him feel calm. Maybe it just makes him feel more shielded, more protected. So he said that to his grandmother and got permission. So in Harry's telling of the story, William went so far as to try and ban his bristles, telling Harry they were not appropriate. Well, as I've just said, for protocol reasons, William would be correct. A beard was thought by some to be a clear violation of protocol and long-standing norms, especially since I was getting married in my army uniform, explains Harry in the book. Beards were forbidden in the British Army. In the memoir, Harry says he was driven to ask his grandmother, the late Queen, for permission in person, explaining that the beard made him feel calmer. Well, I don't think he was necessarily driven to. He didn't have to. He could have just accepted it like William did and shaved off his beard. I think it kind of shows the difference between the two characters. I think William is a lot more ready to conform to protocols, conform to duty. Of course, William on that path where he will take on the ultimate in duty. So that's not necessarily a bad quality in a future monarch. Harry, on the other hand, his nature kind of compelling him not to accept what is being sort of put in front of him. Rules, regulations, protocol don't seem to matter to Harry. And I think this trait has carried on all the way through his adult life to where we are today, where he kind of thinks that the rules and these kind of norms don't apply to him. Well, by the way, this is Harry's account. So, obviously accounts may vary. Yes, recollections may vary. Yes, she said, "You may keep your beard," writes Harry, "but then I explained it to my brother and he bristled." Pardon the pun. Not the done thing, he said. Military rules and so forth. Harry says he gave his older brother a quick history lesson with the help of Google, showing William images of royal ancestors who were bearded. Edward VII and George V were monarchs. So the photographs that were being shown to William were, of course, when they themselves were head of the armed forces. So, of course, they could wear beards whenever they wanted to because they were the head of the armed services, of the armed forces. They could give themselves that permission. But when Harry played his trump card and explained he had already been granted permission by their grandmother to keep the facial hair, William became livid, apparently. Harry reports his brother saying, "You put her in an uncomfortable position, Harold. She had no choice but to say yes." That I kind of do agree with. If someone's coming to you and saying, for my own sort of mental health to make me feel calm, I need this, and then you've got the power to be able to grant that, maybe the Queen did feel, well, yeah, I'll just sort of let him have it. And let's sort of not forget that times are changing. More and more men these days do have beards. There was, significant amount of time socially, in terms of social changes and acceptance in between William's wedding and Harry's, for the Queen just to go, okay, in the great scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. So I don't necessarily think she was 100% manipulated. The Queen was not one to be manipulated, as was proven in later years when, of course, Megxit happened. And, of course, the Queen did put her foot down. And so the Queen was not beyond, sort of putting Harry in his place. But I think on this issue, she took the line of, it's a beard, does it really matter? And of course, the position of both brothers and their different diverging paths would have also played a role. William, as future king, needs to adhere more to the kind of protocols and regulations. Harry, now fifth in line to the throne, maybe could be a bit more lenient with. And I think that's probably what the Queen's thoughts were. The Queen was not a pushover. According to Harry, he adds that William wouldn't let it go and that the argument continued in person and on the phone for more than a week. It culminated, according to Harry, with William ordering him to shave his beard off. Harry says he asked why on earth it mattered, only to get this answer, because I wasn't allowed to keep my beard. Now, of course, we don't know whether or not the words that Harry have used are true. This is Harry's account. We haven't had William's side of the tale. But let's just assume for one moment that they are. I mean, I can certainly see that there is a little bit of a stubborn streak in William. Not necessarily a bad trait for a future king, in the respect that I don't think he would sort of let prime ministers sort of pull the wool over his eye. I think he would always kind of remember important points to pull prime ministers up and hold them to account on. So I don't necessarily think that that is a bad trait. But when it comes to being stubborn, it can often leave you in a place where sometimes it's just better to let things go and let things drop. And I think from William's perspective, he does need to understand that the reason why the rules were a bit more harshly applied to him was because of his position and what he's going to be in the future as king. Looking back, I think it is right, that he adheres to those kind of protocols. That's not to say that these kind of protocols are a little bit outdated and could be changed. But anyway, Harry concluded, there it was. After he'd come back from an assignment with Special Forces, William was sporting, as I said before, a full beard, and someone told him to be a good boy, run along and shave it. He hated the idea of me enjoying a perk he'd been denied. William, it should be said, has never given comments on the claims or given his side of the story. That is true, and that is important to remember. Again, I think we just see this kind of sort of infighting between the brothers. I think it's always been going on. It's always been there, and of course, it was heightened around those years surrounding Megxit, and still today. So let me know your thoughts on this story. I know it's probably one that's been rehashed and bandied around since Spare was put out there. So thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, then please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and of course do hit that bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, to you all, and goodbye.